Hello there and welcome to the EDC Empire. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Buck 501. Specifically, this is the Larrin. The normal 501 is called the Squire, but the Larrin, which is kind of was designed-ish, but kind of modified by Larrin Thomas of Knife Steel Nerds. So a few of the specifications, which I will get into later on, are specific to this, but this should be pretty helpful when deciding whether you want to get a normal 501 Squire as well. Since this is Buck, most of their knives, if not all of their knives, are made in the USA, and this is no exception. It is a backlock and can be deployed with either this Nailnick or just by pinching it, which works quite well. The pivots are pinned, which you can see better right here. You can see that pin, but I have had no real issue with the pin coming loose, and blade play is there, but very, very, very minimal. The pivot is, or the knife is, of course, running on these bolsters, and because these are brass, it's very smooth, and the action for a backlock is quite good. The blade material on this particular variant is MagnaCut with the custom heat treat from Larrin Thomas, and you can see that with the Knife Steel Nerds logo, and it's saying MagnaCut. The base variant of the normal 501 Squire is going to have 420 HC. You can get customized variants with S35 or also MagnaCut. A note on that MagnaCut, I don't know if it has the exact same heat treat as this variant right here does. I've gotten I've found mixed things on it. What I do know is that this particular variant, the Larrin, has a very particular heat treat, which Larrin Thomas specified, which combined with this fully flat ground blade, kind of maximizes both edge retention and also toughness. And the edge does come down to quite a thin tip, but the actual BTE is a little bit thicker than you'd expect. I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't go hollow ground personally, but I can see the appeal of a flat ground. In this particular case, the blade is quite thin, as we'll later see, but it is important to note that the 501 Squire is hollow ground. As you can see, this blade is clip point. As I noted, it's fully flat ground. And then the handle materials on this variant are brass bolsters with Cocobolo covers. The overall length of the 501 is 6.52 inches when open and 3.84 inches when closed. We have an overall depth of right here at 0.95 inches, and a width around the pivot of 0.36, which means that, let's compare it first in carry profile to the PM2. It is carryable to an extreme degree, as you can see there, and then with your thickness, again, quite carryable. And then getting into our size comparisons, we have the PM2 and Para 3, and what we can see here is it is going to be smaller than both of those. This is quite a small knife, if you couldn't tell by the dimensions. And then we have the Delica 4, which is also a decently small knife, and the Benchmade Bug Out. Again, smaller than both, more similar to the Delica, and actually pretty similar feeling in hand to the Delica as well. And then we have the QSP Penguin and Civivi Elementum Button Lock. Again, smaller than both of those. We have a blade length of 2.68 inches and an edge length of 2.37. We have a blade stock of 0.095, which means it is quite thin, a little bit thinner than that 0.12, 0.125 that you'll see a lot of the time. And then we have a weight of 2.57 ounces, which means that in comparison to that blade length of 2.68, you're going to have quite a nice blade to weight ratio. Keep in mind though, smaller knives are easier to get good blade to weight ratios on, but that is something of note. So, the two biggest things, or really the only things, if you get the MagnaCut variant, that are different with the, between the Squire and the Larrin are, one, this is fully flat ground, the Squire is hollow ground, and that this has a single top bolster, while the Squire will have a double bolster here and in the back, or in the rear. Other than that, there really is no difference, and it's up to you which you like more. Unfortunately, if you aren't aware, the Larrin is no longer available. This was a limited run of 1,000 pieces. You can kind of find them pop up here and there, but not super duper available. Hence why I am kind of doing this as a 501 Squire review as well. Other than that, most, or if not all, of the 501 Squires also do have nickel bolsters, not brass. That is something else to note. I already noted about the heat treat. I know that the Larrin variants have the MagnaCut, the special MagnaCut heat treat. I don't know if the customized 501 Squires with MagnaCut do. I assume they would, but I've seen somewhere that they don't. If you want to know, you can contact Buck. But Buck does a fantastic heat treat either way, so really, I wouldn't be too concerned. One thing I will say is, that, I mean, as I've noted, this is quite a small knife, and I was worried as such that this was going to be kind of difficult to hold. And honestly, this is an extremely comfortable knife. And that kind of leads into two things. One, it doesn't have a pocket clip, which we'll get into in a moment. But also, the blade does not take up the entirety of the handle. You can see it kind of ends about right here. And that means that we have a nice extra maybe 1/4 of an inch that we just have for straight handle. And that is definitely used a little bit, especially if you want to bring it back a little bit. But you can choke up a little bit, and you still do have that little bit of extra length. I've been saying a little bit right there a lot. But I mean, I have an XL hand, or extra large glove size, and it fits well in my hand and is extremely comfortable. The thin profile means that you can flip it around. If you want to do ninja style grip, there's a whole bunch of ways that you can hold it, and they work, and this works in pretty much every way. For carrying, the normal 501 is just going to be a drop pocket, or you can get a belt sheath. This is kind of a small knife to me, a belt sheath, but you can. And I wish that Buck did this with a whole bunch of their other models, they made a pocket sheath. It has the Knife Steel Nerds logo along with Buck, the model name, USA made, and just fits right in there. Carries it about right here. It's visible, but I mean, it works really well. It's easy to get in, easy to get out, and this is how I've just always carried this. And it works really, really well. I really, really wish that was normal for Buck. I wish that you could buy pocket sheaths better from them, or pocket slips more easily from them. You can't really. So yeah, that is a shame. Honestly, that just makes me want Buck to do it more because of how nice and how well this works. Like I said, the pinned bolsters have not come loose. Everything is smooth, but stable. The action, like I said earlier, is fantastic. And honestly, I've been very pleasantly surprised by the 501 as a model, and just the Larrin especially. I usually, if I'm carrying a traditional knife, it will be for the fact that, hey, flicking out this in a family gathering or at a restaurant, let's say, may not be the best thing. But on an even worse scale, maybe don't bring this out everywhere. Some places it's fine, but many it's not. And so having a traditional knife is really, really nice to have on you. I do carry multiple knives, really just for the fun of it, and so why not? But a lot of the time, carrying options is not great, and this has been fantastic. And honestly, this belt sheath has made it so, or this pocket sheath has been, or slip has been so nice to carry that I've honestly just made it my primary or only knife sometimes, and it does that very, very well. The cutting geometry is fantastic. It's a little bit thicker behind the edge than I would like to see. I do prefer for one of these traditional knives to be a little bit slimmer behind the edge, but it is still quite thin behind the edge, so don't get yourself confused there. And I mean, it just is an absolute workhorse. It does have a pretty small blade, but it makes up for that with that heat treat and that thin grind. So overall, I have been a huge fan. This particular variant came in at about 150. The standard Squires are going to come in at 130, and then you're going to be charged up if you want to upgrade it in any way, but the standard Squires look pretty cool. Yeah, overall, I'm a huge fan of the Buck 501, the Larrin especially. I mean, that's what I have, but I would definitely recommend it, especially if you want a smaller, more traditional knife and you don't want a slip joint, you want a backlock. This is a great option. If you own any of the 501 variants, comment down below what you think about them. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Thanks for watching.